The Call of the Forest. Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the foot of Emerald Hills, lived a spirited grandmother named Maura Sullivan. Her days were filled with tending to her garden, where daisies and sunflowers danced in the gentle breeze. But as the seasons began to change, Maura felt a familiar tug in her heart, a longing to reconnect with the wild tales of the enchanted forest that whispered to her through the years. With a soft smile on her lips, Maura braided her silver-gray hair and slipped on her well-worn shawl, adorned with vibrant wildflowers she picked on her morning walks. Today, she would venture beyond the familiar cobblestone paths of the village into the mystery of the forest, where countless secrets lay hidden beneath a canopy of ancient trees. As she stepped into the threshold of the enchanted forest, sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful patterns on the forest floor. The air was imbued with the scent of pine and blooming wildflowers, a reminder of her youth spent exploring the woods with her late husband Liam. Memories swirled like golden leaves caught in a gentle gust, filling her with warmth and nostalgia. Each step deeper into the forest brought a sense of wonder, and Maura felt alive, her spirit entwined with the world around her. She remembered the stories she had shared with her grandchildren. Tales of brave knights and mystical creatures, particularly the legend of the shimmering snake known to grant wisdom to those with pure hearts. Maura had always been captivated by that tale, and today, it felt as though the forest was calling her to discover the truth behind those stories. Suddenly, a soft rustle broke the serene stillness, drawing her gaze toward a sunlit clearing ahead. Heart fluttering with anticipation, she approached, her senses heightened. There, basking in a warm patch of sunlight, lay the fabled snake. It shimmered with brilliant emerald and gold scales that glinted like jewels, its long body coiled gracefully upon the soft grass. Maura's breath hitched as she knelt before this magnificent creature. Its eyes gleamed with an intelligence that sent a chill of excitement down her spine. "Hello, Sir Snake," she whispered, a smile blooming. "Are you the wise one from the tales?" To her astonishment, the snake tilted its head, seemingly listening, as if acknowledging her presence. Maura's heart swelled with hope and curiosity. For years, she had sought comfort in providing wisdom to her family, but now, perhaps it was her turn to learn from a creature of magic. In that moment, the forest around her seemed to breathe, and she felt a connection, a bond with the earth, the air, and this legendary being. Maura closed her eyes, embracing the tranquility of the moment, unfamiliar with how quickly life could change. Just then, a cacophony of voices broke through the peaceful air. "What is that?" a voice shouted, panic seeping through the words. Maura's eyes flew open, and her heart raced as she turned to see a small group of villagers approaching, led by none other than Thomas Becket. With his rugged appearance and protective nature, he was known for keeping the village safe, but often his fear of the unknown set him on edge. In an instant, chaos ensued. "Get back!" Thomas shouted, eyes wide as he spotted the snake. "It could be dangerous." Panic rippled through the group as they scattered, the airy tranquility of the forest shifting to unease and alarm. Maura stood her ground, shaking her head, desperately trying to convey the message that this creature was not a threat. "Wait," she implored, raising her hands in a gesture of peace. "This snake is not what it seems. It's a magical creature, one that brings wisdom." However, her words were drowned out by the mounting fear of her neighbors. Whispers of old tales spun into anxious thoughts, causing their imaginations to conjure images of danger lurking behind a veil of beauty. Thomas stepped forward, a protective stance taking shape. "Maura, we don't know what it is. It's better to be safe." But Maura's heart sank. She could see something in Thomas's eyes, fear, yes, but also a flicker of doubt. She longed for him to understand, to feel the magic emanating from the snake, to trust in the wisdom that had drawn her to it. As the crowd began to retreat, Maura made a decision. She would not let fear dictate their understanding. "Listen," she called, her voice steady. "This snake represents what we often fear, the unknown. We must learn to embrace it, not shun it." In that moment, she felt a gentle warmth on her skin, and for the first time, she captured the attention of the villagers. Unsure but captivated, they hesitated, torn between their instincts and the calm assurance in Maura's eyes. With the forest alive around them and the promise of magic just within reach, Maura took a deep breath, prepared to unveil the truth and begin the journey toward understanding. The enchanted forest had called to her, and she welcomed her neighbors to find the magic within themselves. A distressed discovery. The air was thick with tension as Thomas Becket and a small group of villagers approached the clearing where Maura knelt, mesmerized by the iridescent snake. Panic coursed through their veins like wildfire, fueling their instincts to protect one another from perceived danger. "What have you done, Maura?" Thomas exclaimed, horror flashing in his eyes. "You can't just sit there. It might attack." Maura stood slowly, planting her feet firmly on the ground as her heart raced. "Thomas, please, it's not what you think. This snake is a gentle creature, one that holds wisdom beyond our understanding." But the villagers shifted uneasily, surrounding Thomas, their expressions a mix of fear and confusion. Elena Carter grabbed her son's arm, pulling him close to her, as whispers of warnings rippled through the crowd. "We've heard the tales," she murmured. "What if it's exactly as the stories say?" Distrust clung to the air, thicker than the flora surrounding them. Misunderstanding had woven an invisible barrier between Maura's serene spirit and the community's fear. Thomas stepped closer, still trying to protect his neighbors while his instincts wrestled with doubt. "Let's not be foolish," he warned, glancing warily at the snake, which remained calm, watching the unfolding drama. "This is exactly how trouble starts. A harmless thing becomes a threat. We should retreat." With every word he spoke, Thomas felt the weight of the villagers' trust resting on his shoulders, yet something deep within him echoed with uncertainty. He glanced at Maura, her indomitable spirit illuminating the clearing, and for a flash, he caught a glimpse of the adventurous woman she had once been. "Maura, we can't let our fears dictate how we engage with the world around us." Her voice rang with a steadiness that rippled through him. "This is an opportunity, one for all of us to grow. You taught all of us that our greatest challenges can yield our most profound lessons." With a glimmer of hope ignited in her eyes, Maura turned her attention back to the snake, carefully extending her hand toward it. "Please trust me. Look at how it reacts. It only wishes to connect." Yet as she reached out, the villagers flinched, recoiling as if her gesture were an affront to their instinctual need for safety. But Maura was undeterred. She felt the warmth of their hesitance, and deep down, she understood that only through trust could they embrace this moment together. Just as Maura made contact with the snake, Thomas forced himself to take a step back, feeling uncertain of what was right. "Everyone, keep your distance," he urged. "If it lunges at her, we need to be ready." At that moment, the snake responded, its body glimmering even brighter as it moved closer to Maura with graceful elegance. Almost instinctively, the creature wrapped a gentle coil around her wrist, a gesture of trust. Maura's eyes sparkled with profound connection, and she felt a renewed spirit alight within her, a reminder that wisdom can come in unexpected forms. "There, see? It's not aggressive. Look how it embraces me," she exclaimed, laughter bubbling up inside her. "It seeks understanding too." Still, fear clouded the villagers' judgment. Elena, clutching her son, hesitated. "How can we trust it? We've been told to avoid the forest's creatures for generations. I don't want to see anyone hurt." Thomas, torn between logic and the unabashed trust Maura displayed, resisted the urge to let his protective instincts fully screen out possibility. Instead, he felt the pull of the forest, the intoxicating blend of fear and wonder that surrounded it. "Give it a chance," Maura implored, her voice gentle yet firm. "In every story I've shared, it was the willingness to take a step forward through fear that revealed true strength." The villagers exchanged uncertain glances. Curiosity began to sway them amidst their apprehension. One by one, they stepped closer, drawn by Maura's conviction. "Let's be cautious," Thomas said, still defensive. But he edged forward, watching as Maura continued to interact with the snake, whispering soothing words that curled into the air like smoke. "What if it helps us? What if it shows us something?" As the villagers stood at the edge of the clearing, they could see Maura's face lighting up with joy and connection. Slowly, the solid barrier of fear began to dissolve, melting into cautious curiosity. It was a moment suspended, filled with the bittersweet essence of what it meant to be human, learning to share space with not just the known, but the unknown as well. Finally, Maura sighed, glancing up at Thomas and the villagers. "Imagine what we could learn if we face our fears together. This is not just about me, it's about all of us." Just then, a glimmer of solace passed through the gathering. The villagers exchanged looks of uncertainty transformed by a shared sense of purpose. An unspoken understanding began to emerge as they accepted the small invitation Maura had extended, the chance to let go of their defenses and explore the limitless possibilities that unfolded before them. With an audible gulp, Thomas took another step forward, crossing the threshold of fear and doubt, his heart racing. "Let's see what it shows us," he said. And with that, the forest awaited, full of promise, indeed, a realm where trust could thrive once more. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continue bringing more content your way. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the story. Shadows of Fear. As the clearing settled into a fragile calm, the atmosphere hummed with both anticipation and the slightest tension. While Thomas and the villagers cautiously stepped forward, they were still haunted by their shared doubts and the old tales that echoed through generations. Fear was a whisper in their minds, one that insisted the snake could bring danger, not wisdom. Elena Carter stood among the villagers, gripping her son Liam's hand tightly. "What if Maura is wrong?" she whispered, glancing at the shimmering snake entwined around Maura's wrist. "What if it's just another legend with a tragic end?" Liam, ever the spirited soul, squeezed his mother's hand back, eyes wide with wonder as he watched the interaction unfold. "Mom, look. It's so beautiful. Maybe it can teach us something," he breathed, a mixture of excitement and curiosity shining through his youthful exuberance. But Elena felt the shadows of doubt creeping in, wrapping around her own heart like a vine. She had returned to the village seeking peace from the chaos of her past, an escape from the judgmental eyes and the pressures of city life. Yet here, in this moment, she felt more unsettled than ever, caught between the thrill of the unknown and the memories that plagued her. "Liam," she said quietly, "think of the stories we've always heard. Creatures of the forest lure people in with beauty but can turn deadly in an instant." Thomas, who had been observing quietly, spoke up, his voice steady but revealing his own fears. "We have a responsibility to be cautious. If we let our guard down, we risk our safety and that of everyone in the village. Maura may mean well, but we cannot ignore the legends." Elena felt her heart race. The weight of fear felt palpable, a tide she couldn't ignore. "Perhaps we've spent too long fearing what we don't understand. It's just like the city, always judging from the outside without knowing the truth within," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. Though her statement suggested enlightenment, Elena remained shackled by insecurities rippling from her past experiences. When she had moved back to the village, she had hoped to escape the relentless clamor of judgment and expectations. Now, standing here in the midst of the villagers, guarded against the unfamiliar, she realized that she had yet to conquer her own shadows of fear. Meanwhile, Maura remained transfixed by the snake, feeling its heartbeat resonate with the rhythms of the forest. It was as if the creature were revealing secrets only meant for those willing to listen. "Fear keeps us from understanding the beauty all around us," she called out gently, her voice soothing, beckoning the villagers to approach. "I invite you to step closer, to discover the truth behind your fears." As she spoke, the snake slowly uncoiled, revealing its intricate patterns, glimmering in the soft, golden sunlight. The villagers drew in breaths as the brilliance of the creature captivated even the most skeptical hearts. But Elena lingered, a lingering apprehension taking root in her core. "What if it brings pain? I can't bear the thought of what could happen if it is truly dangerous," she whispered to Liam, who gazed ahead, hungering for adventure and understanding. "Mom, every story has fear in it, but it also has hope. We can learn together," he said, smiling brightly as his youthful courage lit a spark inside her, pushing against her barriers. As Maura encouraged the villagers to move forward, Thomas wrestled with his own conflicting emotions. For years, he had strived to protect the village, deflecting the dangers he perceived, but today, standing here before this legendary creature, he felt himself being drawn to the warmth of connection and acceptance. "We should stand together," he said aloud, breaking moments of silence filled with uncertainty. "If we face this together, we can uncover the truth, whatever it may be." It was a fragile alliance, one woven from scattered threads of trust. Encouraged by Thomas's words, some villagers took hesitant steps forward, while others lingered behind, bound by their fears. "Come with me," Thomas urged, gesturing for Elena to join him. "If we see this through, we can set an example for the village." With her heart pounding, Elena took a deep breath and moved just a fraction closer. As she did, the shadows of fear began to lose their grip. They were still there, remnants of insecurities hovering at the edges of her mind, but this moment held a new promise. Slowly, as if realizing that fear could be quelled by community and understanding, the villagers began to inch closer, drawn in by Maura's steady warmth and the shimmer of the snake. They became aware that if they allowed their fears to bind them, the shadows would only grow, hiding the beauty that lay just beyond their reach. At that moment, Elena, Thomas, and the others made their way to the edge of the clearing. They stood side by side in a circle, eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement, a fraternity united against the uncertainties of the unknown. The snake glimmered, eyeing them with a sense of ancient wisdom as they found the courage to confront their shadows together. As the forest breathed around them, a dance of light and shadow played upon their faces, and they felt the gentle pulse of potential radiating within the heart of the enchanted forest. In that space, fear began to morph into curiosity, inviting them to embrace the adventure of the unknown that lay ahead. A tale of two views. The villagers gathered in a hesitant circle, while Maura sat on a low mossy stump, her heart warmed by their willingness to step closer. The shimmering snake, now coiled gently around Maura's wrist, cast a soft golden glow across her face. Its presence seemed to elevate the air, imbuing the clearing with an aura of magic that sparked curiosity. "Let's take a moment to breathe," Maura said, her voice wrapping around the crowd like a comforting embrace. "We're on the brink of discovery, together." Thomas stood at the edge of the circle, arms crossed and face set with caution. "We may be uncertain about what this creature is, but we owe it to ourselves to understand. If it is safe, we must learn how to engage with it meaningfully." His stern demeanor caused a ripple of unease, but his words resonated with several villagers, gathering them close. Meanwhile, Elena felt a surge of emotion swelling within her. There was something magical igniting their interactions, a pull toward the unknown that tugged at her heartstrings, though she struggled to accept it. "That's just it, Thomas," Elena interjected, her voice clear but shaky. "What if we're so caught up in fear that we overlook the potential for connection? Isn't that what we've all been taught? To be wary of what we don't understand?" Liam stood beside her, nodding fervently. "Yeah, Mom. If we listen carefully, maybe this snake will tell us something important." His youthful spirit shone, embodying the hope his mother yearned to reclaim. "Very well," Thomas replied, his skepticism softening just slightly. "Elena, I hear you, but can't we appreciate the value of caution too? There's wisdom in beauty, certainly, but what if it hides danger?" With the tension between them thick enough to slice through, Maura sensed that an opportunity lay ahead, an opportunity to bridge the divide and help them see the multifaceted truth of their fears. "Let us share our perspectives," Maura said, inviting both Thomas and Elena to express their views openly. "Let us shift the shadows into the light through our stories." Elena took a deep breath, her heart racing. "I'm afraid that my own fears kept me from reconnecting with this village," she began, vulnerability spilling through her words. "When I lived in the city, I was often judged for my artistic pursuits, always feeling like an outsider. Returning here, I thought I could escape, but the old shadows still lingered. I embraced the distance with nature, as the beauty in art heals the parts of me that feel broken." Thomas softened at her honesty but still held tightly to his perspective. "I've tried to protect everyone here, our traditions and our safety. But what happens when our fear of the unknown pushes us away from deepening our relationships? When I lost my wife, my life changed, and I threw myself into keeping everyone safe. I didn't want anyone else to feel pain. Yet perhaps sheltering the village too much has made us forget how to face the world outside." The words hung in the air, palpable and laden with emotion. With each admission, they felt the collective weight of their shared experiences, and the snake seemed to respond, shimmering as if sparkling with approval. "We can't ignore the parts of ourselves that urge us to explore," Maura urged, her warm gaze sweeping over the villagers, including Thomas and Elena. "In embracing both truth and beauty, we can transform fear into courage. There can be dual truths, an acceptance of both our fears and our aspirations." A rumbling of agreement and curiosity washed through the crowd. Inspired, Liam voiced his thoughts. "That's what this moment is about. None of us would be standing here if we hadn't decided to listen and learn. And we're stronger together." He stepped closer to Maura, brushing his fingers against the gentle scales of the snake, and the creature reacted instantly, curling protectively around his finger. The villagers gasped, some taking hesitant steps forward to peer closer. Thomas remained determined but intrigued by the positive energy building. So, perhaps this snake is a reflection of us then? It faces the danger of being misunderstood, just as we may. Elena smiled faintly. Yes, and like us, it holds the gift of wisdom within its beauty. Maybe by engaging with it, we can start to uncover our own truths. Maura felt her heart expand at the sense of connection developing before her. May we allow this moment to reshape our relationships, forging bonds out of what was once fear. In that moment, something shifted, not just in their hearts but in the fabric of the clearing itself. The soft rustling of leaves and the warm hum of the forest echoed their sentiments, blurring the lines between fear and understanding that had once felt so distinct. As the gathering edged closer, the villagers felt the weight of possibility settle upon their shoulders. The tales passed down through time now felt woven into the present, a rich tapestry of shared experiences that beckoned to be discovered. The snake glimmered brighter, as if listening intently, and whispers of laughter began to emerge from the crowd. Space opened for warmth, connection, and a gentle acceptance of their differences. They were not just a collection of individuals, each with their own perspectives, but a community ready to embrace both safety and adventure. As they stepped into the clearing, side by side, they realized that the journey ahead was theirs to explore collectively. Mother Nature herself seemed to nod in support, ready to unveil the mysteries that awaited them beyond the shadows of fear. Confronting the unknown. The atmosphere was electric, charged with anticipation as Maura stood among the villagers, the snake still coiled around her wrist. After the exchange of stories that had knit their hearts closer, a wave of excitement washed over them, yet lingering apprehension remained. None felt the weight of this moment quite like Thomas and Elena, who each bore their burdens of fear and courage. "Maura, what do we do next?" Liam asked, his youthful enthusiasm bubbling over as he watched the snake glimmer in the soft afternoon light. "Can we ask it something?" "I believe it's a matter of trusting in our curiosity," Maura replied. She looked around at the eager faces, feeling the pulse of energy that swirled in the air. The best path forward often lies in confronting the unknown. Thomas shifted uneasily. What if confronting the unknown puts us in danger? I still can't shake that fear. Or what if we learn that the unknown isn't as frightening as we imagined? Elena offered tentatively. She took a deep breath, trying to anchor herself as she stepped closer to the gathering point. The only way we'll know is by willing to engage with it, adapting to whatever it brings. The villagers murmured, nodding as they shared glances filled with uncertainty. It was then that Liam decided to take a small but bold step. "Let's get closer to it. It won't hurt us if we're together." His eyes sparkled with excitement, embodying a sense of adventure that beckoned the group forward. With a flicker of trepidation, Thomas stepped back, but a part of him felt enlivened by Liam's bravery. "Okay, let's learn together, but let's be cautious." He focused his gaze on Maura's gentle smile, understanding the strength she had fostered within the group. As the villagers drew in closer, Maura raised her arm with the snake resting elegantly upon it. "Ask it what you wish to know," she encouraged. Liam reached out, carefully brushing his fingers against the snake's shimmering scales. "What do you want to teach us?" he asked softly, a sincere question arising from the depths of his heart. For a moment, nothing happened. The snake remained still, but in the silence, the forest seemed to hold its breath. Suddenly, the snake flicked its tongue, and a low hum resonated through the air as if it were reading the collective energy of the group. Elena felt a flutter in her chest, her curiosity eclipsing her apprehension. "Maybe it wants to share a story," she suggested. "Just like we did. If we open our hearts to it, maybe it will open its voice to us." In an outburst of enthusiasm, Liam began to share a story of his own, recounting a tale he had invented about a brave young hero who ventured into the forest, battling fears and discovering treasures. And when he reached the heart of the forest, he said, he found an ancient tree where the wise creatures lived, and they showed him secrets about the earth. As he spoke, the snake began to pulse with a radiant glow, shimmering ever more vividly against Maura's skin. The villagers watched in awe, marveling at how the creature responded to an innocent tale of bravery. The more Liam's voice rose, the more alive the snake became, its colors shifting from emerald to deep sapphire. Thomas couldn't help but be drawn in, feeling a warm surge of hopefulness. "What is this, magic?" he murmured, wanting to believe, but ghosts of doubt flickered in the corners of his mind. "I think it's a reflection of us," Maura said softly, stepping forward with a soothing presence. "It reflects our stories and the emotions we share. Perhaps it is a reminder of the power of our connections." A sense of daring overcame Thomas, and he found the courage to speak. "Then let's lay out our emotions, our hopes and our fears. Let it know we are reaching to understand collectively." His intention was to unite their spirits through honesty, and as his words spilled forth, the snake continued to revel in the growing energy surrounding it. More voices joined in. Villagers began to share personal tales of loss, love, and courage. Each story was met with a flicker of movement from the snake, as if it were absorbing their experiences one by one, responding to the rhythm of their lives. Elena shared her story of returning to the village, haunted by past judgments, and how she had yearned for acceptance. As she spoke, she felt the weight of her past begin to lift, filled with a brightness that resonated with the snake as its scales glimmered like stars. "Now, here I stand, rediscovering home." The collective energy shifted and surged, wrapping them all in warmth. And they realized they had woven themselves into a tapestry of resilience and discovery. As dusk painted the sky with swirls of orange and purple, the snake slithered deliberately from Maura's wrist, gliding effortlessly through the air. The villagers gasped, holding their breath as it danced, making arcs that illuminated the clearing for all to see. Liam laughed gleefully, reaching out, and even Thomas found himself smiling, awash with the glory of it all. A sense of pure connection coursed through the gathering, and fear began to dissolve, revealing the pathway to understanding that lay ahead. In that shared moment, every villager knew they had confronted the unknown and emerged victorious. The snake continued to weave through the air, settling beautifully in the center of the circle, shimmering with a vibrant glow that reflected their trust and courage. Within the heart of the forest, they had discovered that confronting the unknown was not an end but a beginning, one filled with endless possibilities and the promise of magic revitalizing their lives. The enchanted forest had unveiled itself, reminding them that the journey forward would shape their collective story, tied forever by the courage to step into the brilliant unknown. Embracing the magic. The sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, casting a warm glow on the clearing where the villagers gathered. The snake moved gracefully among them, its radiant colors reflecting the emotions that danced in the air. No longer mere spectators of their fears, the villagers felt the vibrancy of connection that enveloped them, a tapestry woven from stories shared and truths confronted. As the celebration of newfound understanding began, Maura stood proudly at the center, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Look at what we've created together," she said, her voice ringing clear in the soft evening breeze. "We are bound not just by fear, but by our shared willingness to explore and embrace the unknown." Thomas surveyed the crowd, his once stoic demeanor replaced by warmth as he watched his neighbors move closer to the snake. The collective awe they shared illuminated the vibrant spirit of the village. "I never thought I would see the day we danced with a creature once feared," he mused, a smile tugging at his lips. Liam, unable to contain his excitement, spun around with glee. "Can we ask it to show us more?" he shouted, eyes sparkling. His innocence acted as a catalyst, inviting even the hesitant villagers to step forward and engage. Elena stood beside him, pride shimmering in her eyes as she encouraged others to join. "Let's invite our fears and hopes to dance alongside the magic we discover. This isn't just about the snake. It's about us becoming champions of our own stories." The villagers formed a circle, hand in hand, and Liam led the way, stepping into the middle with the snake sliding gracefully at his feet. Maura began to hum a gentle melody that resonated with the rhythm of their hearts, encouraging others to join in. Together, they created an atmosphere brimming with warmth, wonder, and connection. The snake swirled around them, its brilliance reflecting the growing emotions shared within this newfound bond. Each member of the circle began to move, dancing to the melody, channeling their fears into every step. Laughter erupted, filling the air as the villagers let their worries go and found solace in togetherness. "Can you feel that?" Elena exclaimed, her laurel green eyes glistening with tears of joy. "For the first time, we are truly dancing as one, embracing every shade of our identity." As they danced, the snake intertwined with the circle, moving effortlessly in rhythm with the villagers. In this exchange, the magic of the forest awakened, roots of understanding sprouted and twinkled like stars, illuminating their path forward. Each swirl and turn resonated with life, as Maura felt deep down in her soul that they were becoming something extraordinary. This was not just a way to overcome fear, they were giving themselves permission to be fully alive, to celebrate the beauty of flaws and the complexities of their stories. With each jubilant twirl, they released the weight that had burdened them for so long. The shadows of their past began to recede, revealing an open future filled with joy, hope, and magic. As the sun kissed the horizon, a luminescent glow draped over the circle, orchestrating the moment in ethereal beauty. The villagers felt a transformation take hold, a powerful energy coursing through their hearts, bonding them tightly while the forest echoed with the sound of their laughter and the soft melody Maura sang. "Will you remember this?" she asked, raising her voice above the joyful din. "Let us carry this magic within us, embracing the world outside our village with open hearts." The villagers nodded, their confidence bolstered as they danced with vibrant abandon, tethered by connection and adventure. The snake glimmered, and in those mesmerizing moments, they knew deep down that they had forged an unbreakable bond not only with each other but with the forest and its ancient magic. As the last rays of sunlight extinguished on the horizon, the stars began to peek through the fabric of the night sky, twinkling like gentle offerings of hope. The vibrant true magic of the forest whispered its secrets, inviting them to embark upon the journey together, each individual shining brightly. "Embrace who you are and where you've come from," Maura encouraged, her voice laced with warmth. "Your journeys may be filled with shadows of fear, but you've shown that magic awaits beyond their grasp. Let's make our lives a beautiful dance." The sound of collective voices rose again, echoing through the forest. The villagers shouted, "We will remember. We will embrace this magic." In that profoundly transformative moment, their hearts beat as one against the backdrop of the twinkling stars, dancing lives woven together by understanding, love, and adventure. The journey of the enchanted forest had truly begun, a tale that would echo through generations, binding them deeper in community, courage, and the magic that lies within each of them. Did you enjoy this video? If so, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to join us for more amazing stories every day. Here at Daily Anything History, there's always something new to discover. See you in the next video.